Today we are going to clean up my shop, which is actually the sunroom on the back of our house. It houses our parts warehouse for our go-kart business. It's where we do all of our shipping. It also houses all of our go-kart gear, helmets and shin guards and stuff, and our deep freezer. And between all of the chaos of moving across the country and getting settled in here and having to get right to work, working on business stuff, we just haven't spent the time to keep it tidy, and it's just piled up and gotten to be a mess. So today I need to make a path to the freezer because we use that regularly. I need to get the trash taken out, and then I'll show you. It's just a disaster where we spilled paper and not cleaned it up, and set stuff down and not cleaned it up, and all the things. And then I need to straighten up some of the parts shelves before I can ship any orders. All right, so here is the disaster when you walk in. So here's what happened. This is parts shelves that broke in transit, and we wanted to fix them and haven't found the time. Storage, this is all storage of tables and stuff that we just need to find a better place for. We cannot get to the deep freezer because this is stuff that needs to go down to the basement in storage and hasn't gotten taken down there. This goes in Scott's truck. So all of this needs to be clear because this is a parts shelf. We've got an AC unit that needs to be installed in this room, and it's about time because it's getting really hot. Shelves that we never put together because we don't have space. And then you can see it's just a disaster where trash has overflowed and we haven't picked it up. I actually spilled a bucket of stuff the other day and didn't clean it up. Parts orders that have come in, things we've taken off the printer and set aside. It's just a wreck, and we need to get it cleaned up. So you can see this is the back of our house. That looks into our master bedroom right there. I think this must have been an addition to the house, but we typically run this business out of our garage. And, oh look, there's a bird's nest in that helmet. I wonder if there's anything in there. I don't know, it's hard to see. Is there something in there? I'm too short because it's up on the top shelf. I need to pull that down. Anyway, this house does not have a garage, but we needed the space. We really need 3 shops, and we have 3 shops. We have one for my go-kart parts. Scott has a shop for kind of all of his tools, all of his equipment, and that sort of thing. And then we've got our enclosed trailer that is his RV repair shop. And that would go in his regular shop, but because he does mobile RV repair work, he needs it in the trailer. So we've really got those 3 separate shops. This one is not heated or cooled. It does have lights and fans. So in the wintertime when we got here, we hung this plastic up. I'm not sure you can see it. It's like insulating plastic on all the windows. And then we ran a propane heater on this tank. And that actually kept it plenty warm in here for us to come out and ship orders. We're going to install that mini split, possibly. I don't know. We're having a hard time making decisions right now because our whole life is in limbo and we don't really know what we're going to do. But you see what I've got to clean up. We used to actually have a warehouse, and it had built-in shelves and things on the walls. And we just, like I said, we haven't been able to set this up how we want to. And so because it's not efficient and it's not set up correctly, it makes it difficult to use. So all of this has to be cleaned up. This is our shipping desk. I'm supposed to have room to lay out all of my orders here when I pull the parts. So I fill these baskets up with parts for an order and set them out. And then I go through and I actually package them up and ship them. Obviously I can't do that right now, so that is a problem. So we're going to get to that. And I think I'll just start with the trash. I need to get this out. I need to pick up all the trash. Hopefully we have room in one of our trash cans. Maybe I'll go get that. Let me go get a trash can. One thing that you learn really fast as a small business owner is that things are not always going to be perfect, and that's okay. Our warehouse right now is not ideal. It's not set up the way I want it. It's a mess. I'm constantly having to move things around and be creative with my space and just figure it out as we go. And it's not the warehouse that we used to have. But all of that's part of it. Being a small business owner means being flexible. It means being scrappy. It means finding a solution when the perfect setup is just not an option. You can't wait around for perfect conditions. You just roll up your sleeves and get it done. You have to work with what you have, and you have to make the best of it. You have to keep moving forward one step at a time. The truth is, good enough is good enough. This space, even though it's imperfect and doesn't look great, it represents our growth and our hard work and our resilience that we can just keep plugging away even when life falls apart. If you're chasing your dream, don't get discouraged by the mess along the way. Don't feel like you have to have the perfect setup or an aesthetic for filming videos. The real magic happens in these moments when you just keep going, even when it's not easy or pretty. A couple of years ago when we took over the go-kart parts business from Mom and Dad, we had to drive down and we had to clean out all of the parts from Dad's shed. He had it in like a 12 by 20 probably storage shed, and we didn't realize there were also some parts in their garage that were boxed up, and we missed those. And so recently we got all these boxes. Most of them have been put up, but there's a few here. Like this one is hardware, so I have not taken the time to go through it. So I'm going to do that real quick. We're going to sort all of this out and figure out where it goes. So let's see what we've got. These are 6mm nuts. I think there are going to be quite a few more of those because like these are little kits already made up for a fender. It's got 3 short bolts and 3 nuts that go on it. I don't keep these kits made up. Which I'll probably just put these on the shelf to the side. I keep all of my hardware separate and make the kits when they're sold because it's more efficient for me that way. So I'm going to have to figure out what all of these kits are and sort them accordingly. Some of these, like this is just a miscellaneous hardware bag. So I've just got to figure out what a lot of this is and get it put in the right places. Okay, we've got fender bolt nuts, which is a 6mm flange nut. It goes here. I'm going to set that aside, make sure there's more. This, I think, is a jack shaft lock nut. These aren't labeled, so I'm just having to look at them and guess. So let me go get a jack shaft lock nut and let's see if that matches. Okay, so here's the ones that are labeled, and I know what they are. We've got this one. They are the same size. I really don't need 20 of these, but I guess I won't have to order them for a while. I usually would keep like 4 of those in stock, but that's okay. All right, next. These are 150 XRX wheel studs, and look, a lug nut. These are the longer brass colored ones, so that's how I know they're the XRX. So I can go put those in a cabinet over here. I'm not sure where they are. Here they are. It looks like they're just mixed up. I've got some of the long ones and some of the short ones, and I've also got different colors. And then all the lug nuts are in there, so that's where these go. I also don't normally keep that many of those, but since we're finding all these free parts, I'm just going to have an overstock of them for a little while. Let's see what's next. Oh, what did I get on there?
Mom, the pizza.
All right, here's one of those kits made up. I'm just going to put it in this bucket with those bolts, and that way when I go looking for them, maybe I'll see that and remember that there's already some kits made up. And then I want to see if there's any more of those kits. I have all of those. Okay. So look, there's some more of those jack shaft lock nuts. That looks like an axle nut, so I'll have to find an axle nut to compare that to. There's another bolt kit. I'm gonna have to divide this one up. This is all the hardware that comes with a go-kart when it's unassembled. So I'm gonna have to split that up. I take that back. That's not a hardware bag. Those are shock bolts. Because they're thicker. I'm pretty sure that's a M10 instead of an M8. So let me find my shock bolt and we'll see. Okay, here, this one is labeled, so I know these are the right size. And then here are the ones. Make sure the nut fits the new one. It doesn't seem like it wants to go on there. Oh, there it goes. Okay, so those are shock bolts and nuts. Again, I would not normally keep this many shock bolts and nuts, but we'll just have an overstock. Look, there's a wheel stud in there. That doesn't belong. Oh, here we go. Okay. These are exhaust gaskets. Or maybe spacers. We call it a gasket, but I have a spot for those. I'll have to find the bin. Alright, that one's labeled. A front axle nut. So a 150 front axle nut is also, let me think. I think that is a mid, it's not a rear axle nut. Let me go check the bin and see what it's labeled as. Okay, here's those exhaust gaskets again. I've already got 10 of them. I probably sell one of these once every other month, so I don't know why there's this many of them. And I'm about to add 4 more. We're gonna have a bunch of overstacks. Oh, we got a package. Let's see, I think it's a Temu order. Maybe I'll do a Temu unboxing video. Yeah, from Temu. Well, if I get my work done today, maybe I can go sit down with a cup of coffee and we can see. I don't even remember what I ordered. I probably went on some sort of shopping spree, so we'll do that next. Check out that video. Maybe it'll release, you know, within a couple of days of this one, and you can go watch what we got in our package.
I didn't know we got it.
Okay. All right, here's some more of those kits that I'm putting in my box over here. I've got all these Castle nuts. I think what I need to do is look up my listing because I don't have a bin for my 150 front wheel nut. I think what I need to do is just check my listing and see what size they are. And if it's the same as my mid-size axle nut, I'll add to this label here that it's also a 150 front wheel nut, and we'll just put them there. I think it is because this says it's an M16, and that looks right, although I'm just eyeballing it. I have a gauge somewhere to check these, but I don't know where my gauge is. There's another wheel stud. All right, there's... Okay, what's next? These are... This is all kinds of junk in here. Okay, these are going to be either brake or gas pedal springs. They're directional which way the spring is wound, so I'll probably just have to look and see which is which. So I'll take those over in just a minute. These are more exhaust gaskets, but they're a different size than this one. That might be to a Challenger exhaust. I'm gonna have to look that one up as well. I don't know what that is. Here's a bunch more of these fender bolt kits. That's a 10mm nut, but it's not a lock nut. It would be a shock bolt nut, but it is not a lock nut. I'm gonna set those aside because off the top of my head, I don't know of any 10mm nuts that go on go-karts that are not lock nuts. So those may not be, those may go in Scott's miscellaneous stuff. These are mini bike wheel spacers, and I think I quit selling the kit because they don't sell these anymore. Or at least not all of them. They're to space out on a mini bike the bearings and brake caliper and brake disc and all that. And there's like several different sizes. So I've got those somewhere, but I don't think I have a bin for them. Here's a bunch more of these kits. All right, this says that's more jack shaft nuts. That's a giant lock nut. These say M12, which I think is a 150 spindle nut. Ooh, look at those. Those are funny looking castle nuts. This is what they normally look like. A lot of these parts are 2020 parts during COVID, and it was very difficult to get all of our suppliers for our go-karts are in China. So during 2020, when all of that shut down, Dad had to get really creative about finding parts. So I bet that's what those are from. I don't even know that those are going to go in the miscellaneous stuff for Scott. These, I'm almost certain, are 150 spindle nuts. So I'm going to go get some of those and check. Stop doing that. All right, this is a 150 spindle nut. It holds the spindle onto an A-arm. They look like the same gauge and the same height. This one is little. That one's different. That doesn't go. But all of these, nope, there's a short one too. Look at that. See how it's short? But they do look to be the same size. I'm not sure about that. We're going to set those aside because I don't think those are right. But those are spindle nuts. I don't see any more of them. Oh no, there's a set. Those are 14s. Let's check against these though. This is labeled as a 14. And that's what these are. So these are not mid rear axle nuts. They are only 150 front wheel nuts. So I actually just need a new bin for these. So I'm gonna go put some of this stuff up and then make a new bin. Okay, I don't have a Sharpie to write on this right now. So these are 150 front wheel nut. And they're M14s. Okay, that'll help me later on. I'm going to tear this because I don't have a set of scissors either. And then stick it on here. All right, now those are in there. Oh, grab that one. Now we've got some. All right, these are fender mount bolts. Those go. And this one up here.
Okay.
Put it in that one. There's another kit. Match those up again. Yep, those match. Okay, and this says flange bolt M10 by 40. These are shock bolts. These are more shock bolts. So. Okay, let's play with the knife. Trash, 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 trash. Okay, I gotta figure out what all these are. These are gonna have to go in a miscellaneous box because they're all things. These I can put up. The rest of these, I'm gonna put in a basket. Okay, we've got the floor, most of the trash cleaned up. I can't find a dustpan, so we'll have to find a dustpan to get all the small stuff. But I got all that trash picked up. I've got this table cleared off. So this is miscellaneous parts I've got to identify. These are Mom's parts for her Taurus. If you're interested in a Taurus, go check out some of our garden vlogs. It's our little UTV we use in Mom's garden. And there's all kinds of options. They're very affordable, and we could definitely get you a quote on one if you're interested. These are some packages that I shipped yesterday, or that I packed yesterday. They need to go to the mail. Here's our Temu haul. And then I've got the rest of the table cleared off. Now I've got to work on my workstation over here because it's a disaster. This printer is older than most of my children, and it's time to replace it, but they cost like $1,000. So we're just making it work, right? Just like our sunroom with plastic being our parts warehouse, we're making our junky old printer that is way outdated work because it does still work, in fact. All right, all of this stuff stays here. This is printing supplies and our warranty binder. None of my shipping supplies go up here though. Shipping supplies go below. But the rest of this is just junk that needs to be put up. So let's get to that. I got these in an order of fuel line that I get on eBay, and I use the same guy. I've used him for years and years and years. And every order I get these. I should get in touch with them and just let them know. We send out a gospel tract in every order from our church, but this one is pretty neat. It says, you know, ticket, admit one. It's got John 3:16, Ephesians 2:8, and then on the back it's got scripture that walk you through the gospel and how to be saved. And then this one is on a scale of 1 to 10, how sure are you that you're going to heaven? And it gives a little scale of how good you are, and then it's got the gospel on the back again. So those are pretty neat. I'll probably hang on to these. I think in the past I've saved them up and just thrown them into other orders. Scott's read over it, and everything is, you know, legit and scriptural and all of that. So that's kind of fun to see that and know that we're not the only ones doing that. Go-kart roll cage pieces that we wanted to have this as samples to have custom touch-up paint made. That was like 6 months ago, and they're still sitting here. I guess I'm just gonna put them on the shelf for now, and maybe eventually we'll get around to getting that. Well, for the blue, you can actually just go get Rust-Oleum metallic cobalt blue paint, and it matches our go-karts perfectly.
Does it have eyes on it?
No, it has other people on it. Go get them. There's a whole set. That I just sorted. I'm gonna have to go put those on the shelf. Alright, this is pretty good. There's only so much I can do on this desk because I use all of these things and I'm about to take them all back out anyway. But we got most of the junk cleaned up and I've got some space to work now. Okay, I'm gonna show you my progress. It's not time to pack orders yet. I just noticed there's a few more things. But I've got my shipping desk cleaned off so that I can lay all my parts orders out when I pull them. I've got this cleaned up so I can actually pack the orders up. I've got most of the floor cleaned up, but I need to come get this corner over here. This is like parts we never went through and put up. So I need to tidy that up real quick and then I'll be ready to pack orders.
Mama.
Another thing that is difficult as a small business owner is knowing what to do and when to do it. It's so easy to just really bog yourself down and spend too much time on something that doesn't matter or that's not going to make an impact. And really here, I should have picked this tote up and sorted all the parts, and instead I just shoved it on the shelf. That way it's out of the way. I don't use any parts from this on a regular basis. I can come back to it. But the reason that I didn't want to spend time is because I found this steering wheel in it. And the steering wheel reminded me of a customer who had asked if our steering wheel adapters will fit the smaller go-karts. This steering wheel goes to a smaller go-kart. You can see me looking. I was like, oh, I want to check that, see if the holes line up. I couldn't find the adapter because the adapter is in the house from a few weeks ago when another customer asked if I could measure the distance between the holes for a different reason. And finally, in my head, I was like, I just need to put this thing up.
Okay, we don't usually stock tires because they're really hard to store because they're so big and they cost a lot to ship. But these were a return from a customer. I don't have anywhere to put them. Hopefully I'll have an order come in for some mini bike tires and I can just get those shipped out. I don't have anywhere else to put them, so they're gonna stay right there in the floor. And now I believe we can start pulling orders. We use BigCommerce for our website, for the hosting and parts listings and all of that. But for our shipping, we have integrated with an app called ShipStation, and it connects to our BigCommerce store. It doesn't want to log in. There we go. And it will import all of that, and it will allow me to access all that customer shipping information and use my discount accounts with all the different shipping carriers. We mostly use the Postal Service because that's what makes sense for us and what's available. So all my orders come up here. I can select all of them. I will print packing slips. I've already done that. So now I have this huge stack of packing slips, and I'm going to take these and I'm going to start going through and pulling parts and matching them up with packing slips. Okay, I actually don't have all of my packing slips printed out. So okay, I'm having a hard time with packing slips and getting them printed out right. So instead of pulling all the orders ahead of time, I'm actually just going to pull one order. I can pull it up on the screen, pull the order, pack it, and that way I know which parts go where, and I won't have to worry about my packing slips not printing right. If I come to an order and we're missing parts, or if I take the last one of something, then I just write this down and I'll put together a parts order when I'm done and get that ordered from our supplier. So I'm just going to start clicking through here, and let's see, this needs a steering joint. All right, I have those. Okay, here's a steering joint and a cap. This was the last one, so I am going to write that on my list. Since that comes with 2 pieces, I'm going to put them in a Ziploc bag just to contain it. And then we'll get that packed up. So typically in my order, we would have the parts, obviously, that go in order. These are some of our mailers. They have a zip up and you could seal the Mylar with a heat strip. But most of the stuff, I just fold it over and tape it down. But I've got my part, and then we'll put a gospel track in. I keep some of those. And then if we have any, which we do right now, we've got some postcards with coupon codes on the back for what our special deal is. I'll add that. And we did order matching stickers for all of our postcards a couple years ago, and we are sold out. But there used to be a #1 sticker that matched this, and those stickers would go in there as well. Since we don't have that, I'm not going to worry about it. My weight is already pre-programmed. It says it is 4 ounces. I'm going to go up a couple ounces just because I know that's more than 4. I'm not going to waste the time to weigh it. I'm only adding a couple ounces because I did add the mailer and the postcard and the gospel track, so it's not just the part. And then it tells me my service that I'm going to use. I'm going to purchase my label, seal this up, and then print that label out. My printer may not be connected. Every time you disconnect from, oh no, it says it is, the internet, you have to refresh your connection. Oh, it's because it's not plugged in. Okay, I forgot to plug the cord in. My big printer is wireless, but my label printers are not. right? I'm not going to show you the label because it's got a customer's information on it. But I just put it over the seam right there so it holds that down, and that one's packed and ready to go. And then I can close out that packing slip and just go on to the next one. All right, next, that's one that I don't have parts for. This looks like a big order. It needs a carburetor and air filter, a gasket set, a gasket and insulator set, a battery, and a fuel filter. I have all of these things in stock. So I'm gonna put together a medium flat rate box because that's what I'll need with the battery just because of the weight, plus all those other parts. I'm gonna put that together and then I'll start loading the parts in as I pull them. All right, this was the last battery in this size, so I'm gonna have to write that one down on my list so I don't forget to order it. I'm gonna have to ship this separate because even if I cut down the cardboard, there's no way it's going in this box without bending these, but I'll put them in like an envelope type of thing or put them in a mailer and just put something on there, do not bend. And I'll just have to split this one and ship it separately. There's one thing I really like about ShipStation is that it allows you to split these things up very easily into separate shipments if you can't get everything in one box or if you need to ship something now and other stuff is not in stock right now. It is very, very easy to do that. So we're going to ship this first one. It is a Priority Mail medium flat rate box. Okay, and then this one, actually I think what I might do is tape it up inside another cardboard box and then put that inside of a mailer. Okay, there we go. That's nice and sturdy. It's not going to get bent in half. And then we're going to get this a separate shipment. And we'll still ship that Priority Mail just to make sure it gets there around the same time in its own package. And cut that one. All right, 3 down and 47 more to go. Okay, I just want to tell you about this order real quick and just show you something that I do. There is this one particular customer, I recognize his name, and it is from when we were in South Dakota, and it's a go-kart that we sold in person. It's not just an online order. Although sometimes I do recognize some of my online customers if they've called and chatted with us. Some of our customers will like call and give us updates, let us know that how much they love the cart, or call for questions, and we kind of get to know them.
So this customer, he's obviously servicing his cart for the spring. He is in Minnesota, which means it's probably like the first week that the weather has been halfway decent where he wanted to even think about it. He ordered a couple of spark plugs and a fuel filter and an air filter. So that's obviously spring service. He's just taking care of his engine. And this is not a huge thing, but I'm gonna go ahead and send him a fuel line kit as well to go with his fuel filter, just because we knew him personally, we loved his kids, we really connected with them, and it's just a little something, you know. Fuel line kit goes a long way when it comes to taking care of your go-kart, because of the ethanol and gas. Fuel lines can disintegrate, and maybe he'll use it, maybe he won't, maybe he'll keep it on hand as a backup, but you know, every now and then when we recognize a customer like that, we'll throw in something extra just to show our appreciation that, you know, we enjoyed working with them and that we want to take care of them. And it didn't cost me, I mean, what's that? Probably $1 worth of fuel line. Maybe not even that, to be honest. So I just wanted to show you that one order that I do recognize a lot of our customers, and this one in particular, like I said, it was face to face. So that's something fun. I enjoy doing that. I enjoy getting to know our customers and getting to do something special for them every now and then. Okay, I have spent a couple hours out here now. That's probably really all the time that I can dedicate it to it today. I've got all of my orders caught up to within about 25 hours. It tells me how far out my orders are on my shipping software. So I'm caught up to everything that's been placed in the last 25 hours, which today is Monday. So you know, our weekend orders always get a little bit behind. Our processing time is 3 to 5 days. That's just, especially summertime, there's just no way I could ship stuff out the day that it comes in. So the rest of it that's 25 hours out, I'll be able to get that out tomorrow. It'll be fine. I'm gonna have to go send a few emails to drop ship things. There are some large things and some things that we just don't keep in stock that I will drop ship directly to the customer, and that comes from our supplier. So I just got to send emails and let them know what to ship out. They'll send me back tracking numbers and I can get that to the customer. But let me show you, you know, what we got packed up today. It does not look like much sitting in this tote, but I'll take this out for the postman. There's probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There's probably 20 packages in here that I got through today. And there's probably another 15 emails that I'll send that I'll drop ship today. And all of this will go out first thing in the morning with the mailman. And we'll finish up the rest of those orders tomorrow. And then, you know, we're leaving this clear. I'll tidy up here, but that's clean. These boxes go under here. We're working with a clean parts area now. So I feel like I got a lot accomplished in just a couple hours. And that is all about how we just make do with what we have and we get a lot done in a little bit of time.